Welcome in, Fort Wayne football fanatics. My name is Blake Baker. I work with SummitCitySports, and here to my left, Snyder head coach Kurt Tippmann, here for a quick conversation this week ahead of what they're calling Bruin Week, approaching week 7 of this 2021 football season. Coach, I want to look a little bit to the past, something I've been curious about. So you guys are dealing with something that only 2 teams in the SAC are dealing with. You have 1 fewer game on your record, right? How has that impacted this team so far?
Well, I mean, it doesn't impact us in terms of, you know, the conference and all that stuff. The ADs take care of all that. But, you know, our concern was just in the midst of the week, you know, we were in limbo whether or not we were going to play a game. You know, up until Friday at 1 o'clock, we weren't sure whether or not we were still going to be able to play. But we were also ready to you know, lace it up and go out there and play somebody, you know. So it was just weird. It was different. The kids handled it and the coaching staff handled it, I think, very well. And, you know, we came out of that week, then the following week, what we thought we improved in the facets of the game that we needed to improve in. So, you know, all being, you know, if you consider the whole thing, you know, we made the best of what is an unfortunate situation.
And something pretty unique to just these last couple seasons too. So hopefully we don't have to deal with that a whole lot in future seasons. But it sounds like you guys handled it well. Been kind of cruising since then, but still approaching a very, you know, special, crucial stretch to end this season, right? Which starts this week. How important is it to get off to the right foot, on the right foot, to start this crucial stretch, starting with this Friday?
Well, our goal has been to improve every week. So we kind of take that approach that you just described for every week. We got to play better every week, you know, and our goal is always to be playing our best football once we reach game 9 in the playoffs. And so, you know, that's been our push. The players know that. You know, we know we have to improve every week. And, you know, what's exciting about these last 3 weeks is they're meaningful games for other circumstances. You know, this is our rivalry week. You know, it's a great celebration of the program to play in a rivalry game. You know, everybody that's ever played here, coached here, knows about this week. They circle this week. They'll be at the game. They'll be watching the score. I mean, it's just a great atmosphere this whole week in practice, you know, and to get to play in a rivalry game. And then the following weeks, you know, if we do our job every week, is you put yourself in position to eventually be involved in a championship kind of deciding situation. So, you know, that's the goal. Every end of the season is your hope is that you put yourself in position for meaningful games to be on the schedule those last 3 weeks, and that's kind of where we're at.
Yeah, no doubt. We've noticed that, I think, all season long. Anybody who's watched you guys also noticed that as much as you love to be a ground and pound type of guy in this offense, there's a definite balance to this offense, right? I think when I looked, there's the exact same number of yards, just over 950, both rushing and passing. What do you like most about the balance that this offense brings this year?
Well, I think, you know, the secret to being successful in the end of the season, in the playoffs, is you got to have balance. You know, you want to keep speaking from a defensive perspective. You don't want anybody to be able to, you know, focus on one aspect of the offense. And the more balanced we are, the better and more productive we are as an offense. And you know, the run game has been maybe a little bit ahead of the pass game, but the pass game's catching up. And you know, that's our goal, is to be balanced both in attempts and in yards gained. And that way, as you get into game plans where the seasons are on the line and championships are on the line, you know, both of those are ready to deploy against whatever defenses are giving us. And, you know, it's all part of our plan to be playing our best football towards the end of the season.
Awesome. And shifting gears to the other side of the ball, about an average maybe of 30 points given up the first 2 weeks, but since then it's been 14 points or fewer. What have you noticed about the development of the defense throughout this season?
Well, again, I mean, it sounds like a broken record, but, you know, we had to do some things. We made some major scheme changes in the offseason that, you know, these kids played a different scheme as they were growing up through the program as freshmen and sophomores. And so that takes time. That takes time, and that takes game reps to be able to work out some of the kinks of it. But also just for players to get more comfortable doing, you know, a certain type of technique that maybe they didn't do before, or a certain schematic deployment that we want to use, or their eyes are in a certain place where they weren't before. And that just takes time. And we knew it would take some time. You know, our hope is that we would have it ready to go to begin with. And, you know, we made mistakes, and those mistakes cost us. But there's one thing when you make a mistake and you get beat in a situation because somebody's just, we couldn't run with that guy, or we couldn't get off that block or something like that. But it's another situation when the mistake is of your own doing, and those mistakes are more identifiable and maybe easier to go then address to fix. And so that's kind of been our philosophy as a defense, and our goal each week is to identify those kinds of mistakes and not beat ourselves, not have Snyder beat Snyder. And I think our improvement in the result has come from an improvement in those kinds of areas.
Perfect. And now speaking maybe more holistically, what do you think is the most important thing you've learned about this team throughout, 6.5 weeks now?
Well, they're resilient, from game one, being in a bleak situation where, other teams scored with little time left, and we had to scramble to get in a field goal range, and then field goal kicker nails with 1 second left, a long field goal when he had missed one earlier. And there wasn't any negativity on the sideline. There wasn't any finger pointing on the sideline leading up to that point. That just gives you the opportunity to be successful in a play when it's the most meaningful. And even in the next week where we lost by 1 point, there wasn't any finger pointing. We made a lot of mistakes, and there could have been the opportunity for a lot of finger pointing, a lot of blame to be placed, or a lot of getting on other teammates because of mistakes that they made. And there wasn't any of that. And so, we know that every great team has to go through a certain kind of adversity to be able to advance themselves, to be competitive for the championship kind of games. And I think we've battled through those kinds of things, and certainly we need to continue to get better, but we're a resilient team. I think we're a tough team. We're a team that is willing to get better and do the work to get better each week, which is a huge task. And every Monday, they come out here on a new week, and they're invigorated and excited to do that week's work for whatever opponent we're playing. And those are all things that are encouraging for coaches, and encouraging for each other as they work with each other each week.
Awesome. And so your team's resilient, your team is tested. They're very excited for this Friday's matchup, right?
Well, I guarantee we're excited for Friday.
What do you think is going to be the X factor, we'll call it, that'll determine the outcome of this Friday's matchup?
Well, Northrop, offensively has a lot of offensive weapons. Lots of talented players that they get the ball in the hands of to operate their offense. We got to do a good job of covering those guys and being sound in our scheme to be able to execute and be successful. And then offensively, it's really, you got to block guys. You got to block guys, and they'll, different kinds of stunts, and they're having a little bit of a new scheme this year too. And, we have to identify what they're doing and get a hat on a hat and let our guys run and throw. And it sounds trite and it sounds simple, but that really is what the goal is. And, we'll be more excited because it's a rivalry game, but that leaves after a play or two, and it gets back to just the basics of playing football. And we have to execute better than the opposing team, and that'll be the key to success or not.
So this whole time we talked about your team, what you guys are expecting. From a fan perspective, what do you think they can expect to see if they come out to Spooler Stadium on Friday and watch you play Northrop?
Well, they should see an improved team, from the last time they saw us. We talk about that all the time. This Friday, we need to play better than we did last Friday in all facets of the game, and all kids that are out there playing, they need to play better than they did the last week. We should be a team that is disciplined and plays hard. Plays hard on both sides of the ball, runs to the ball on defense, plays physical, and gives great effort on offense. And, we hope to be an exciting team. Our kids are enjoying playing, and that's always the big part of this. They got to enjoy having fun, and then that should show in the way we play.
You heard it here. It's been fun to watch you guys play. It'll be really fun on Friday. Spooler Stadium, 7 p.m. kick. We'll be there. We hope to see you there too. On behalf of Kurt Tippmann, I'm Blake Baker with Summit City Sports. We'll see you on Friday.